Hello, it's Lolly, and I had a request to just do a basic die cutting video. So those of you who aren't familiar with die cutting, it's using a metal die. There it is, and it's D-I-E. That's how you spell that. And so the benefit of this is, we have hole punches, but they punch little holes, right? If you want, for instance, this is about an ATC size. If you want to do a whole bunch of these, but you want them all exactly consistent, perfectly cut, and not at off angles, how sometimes you can do with a little paper trimmer or paper cutter, this is what you want. And this one also does a stitch line on the inside. Oops, excuse me. And this one is from Amuse Studio. So, and it's called the card catalog tag, and it also comes with this little hole punch thing you can put in there. So this is the Spellbinders Grand Calibur. I'll show you the name right there. The reason I had wanted this one is because it doesn't take up that much room on your table. It does have a little lever here that you can pull down and suction it to your table, but the table where I do this, it's a bumpy plastic table, and so it never would stick. You can see it's even rocking on here a little bit. This is as far as the tray comes out, but it does have some images on there showing you to cut you need A platform and C platform. Your die, or the cutting part, is always going to face against this platform here. So when we put this on, let's use this one here. Let's use this one. When we put this, you have to put the cutting side down. Now, it tends to roll around on this one more than it does on the Sizzix machines. So I am going to tape this in place. Oh, I got an avalanche going on here. I'm going to tape this in place, and one of the things I like to do so that I don't tear my my paper is to kind of get that tape unstuck a little bit by putting it on my shirt. Okay, so again, the sharp side is facing this, and then you put that in and roll it in, and you might hear a loud pop. That one didn't do it. Sometimes you hear this you hear a loud cracking noise, and you think, oh no, I have just ruined something, but it's okay. I can't get the whole thing in on the video. So now I just take it out, and here's the image here. Let me move the die cutting machine. Now it's handy to have some kind of a tool to poke through the images here. So untape it. There. Now you see it's got all those in, excuse me, it's got all those in there, and you just poke sideways. Don't poke straight down, or you might just injure yourself on that sharp pointy thing. And one of the things, excuse me, they also make these tools just for this purpose. And you're going to have a lot of really cool confetti with this when you're done. So sometimes on a new die, or if you find you still can't get your paper out, one of the things you can do is put a layer of wax paper, then the paper that you want cut. Now you notice there's all these little tiny holes. Those ones you need to poke out. Now this tool, like I said, is a little too pointy. I have another tool just for this purpose. And hold on. Okay, now this is a Spellbinders tool. It's not quite as sharp as this one. So I'm going to use that and just poke through, and it pushes the paper out. You can see it coming out right there. Okay. Now it looks like it's also torn a little bit, which is kind of unusual. The first part of this arrow did not connect with the rest of it. So, okay, and this is a Sizzix die, if I haven't said that already. Okay, pokey, pokey. Now I know I'm kind of hurrying because I'm doing this on video, but normally, I would, like I said, use wax paper, take my time, and really get that out of there quickly. Oh, I see. It's that way on purpose. Okay. This is the first time I'm using this die. What it does is it has that, and it has two little arrows on the very end that come out separately, so that you can do a decorative image there. There, like this. You can see that. And there's one on the other end as well. So that's pretty cool that you could separate that arrow like that. And the other one, I'll pause it and get it out. Okay, so that's it. It cuts that out, two of these little pieces, and then all of these, which I said you can glue on your project or use as confetti. Okay, so now I'm going to move this out of the way and show you the big shot. Now, when I got this, I started buying embossing folders too, thinking I was going to be able to emboss because it says that it can. This is what embossing is. You sandwich your cardstock in a folder and run it through, and it leaves the bumps on there. And it even shows you here how to layer the trays in there so that you can emboss. Only the trick is, I've never gotten it to emboss ever. It will not go through the machine with any layer combination that I have tried in there. And I did a video recently in which I showed why it wasn't my favorite die cutting machine, and I had a couple comments saying I have the same machine and the same problem, it won't emboss. So let's move on to the Big Shot. Okay, so this is the Big Shot, and there's also this takes 6-inch wide dies. There's also a larger one that takes up to 8.5 by 11 papers, and there's another one that takes 12-inch. So you can see this does take up a bit of real estate on your workspace. And really, in the scheme of things, I don't think it takes up that much more than the Grand Calibur. It just has corners. The other one was more rounded. Now, the trays for this come assembled on this multi-purpose platform. Let me move this so I can see it here. And it has pictures so that you know, like it shows you a picture. If you want to do a die cutting, you leave the green side down and you take one of these two platforms, put it there, your die, your paper, and the other one of these. So let's do this one here. And let me get some paper real quick. Let's see. Okay, let's do that one, and another platform. There we go. And that's how it's going to go into the machine. So put that this way. You want to push it snug up against there. Let's see if I can get this going there. There we go. And like I said, you may hear a crack sound, and you can run it back through the other way if you want, or just take it out. Okay, and there it is. Let's see if you can see those stitch lines on there. Isn't that cute? Love it. Okay, so that was very simple. You don't lose all your platforms because they're all connected. Now let's do the embossing pad. Hold on. Okay. Here's my embossing folder. This is one by Doris, and it looks like dominoes. You open that up, put your paper in there, whatever size you want, and you could use a shape, like I could put this in there if I want. But now we need to see which platforms to use for embossing, and it's not on this one. So it tells you what brand, and I see two of them here. This is Textured Impressions Texture. This is a different brand, but I think it'll work. It shows using this platform, one of these, the folder here, and then another one of these. And then we're going to feed that into the machine. And it doesn't matter if you go left, right, or right, left. Okay, put it up against there. Roll. Okay. Move that out of the way. It's hard to get the camera angle in here right. Okay. Open your folder up, and there you go. So the possibilities are endless. This is why, as you can see how quickly this is, especially if you have the ability to leave it set up, how quickly this is to make beautiful image. Like I said, we could even run this through one of these embossing pads and get a really cute image. So this is the difference between, in my opinion, between the Sizzix Big Shot and the Spellbinders Grand Calibur. It does emboss. It's very stable, not rocking around on your table. The only thing you have to assemble when you get it, by the way, is just to attach the handle, which is super easy. It looks pretty sturdy. The only bad reviews I had seen of the Spellbinders was that the handle tends to break off, but the company has been good about replacing the Spellbinder handles. Have not ever heard anything about Sizzix handles breaking off. And just a little FYI, when I started paper crafting, like 1994, and Sizzix came out with their very first die cutting machine. I think people call it the Big Red now. It was not a crank handle like this. And I bought one, left it in a box, and never used it. And then I ended up getting away from paper crafting from health issues, came back to it recently, a couple of years ago, and I use it now because there's still some really cool dies. So I have the original Sizzix Big Red, and I have this one, and I love it. I will be donating my Spellbinders Grand Calibur to that thrifty craft store that I go to. Thank you so much for watching. If you have any questions, leave me a question in the description. Excuse me. You can read the description underneath the video, but leave me a question in the comments, and I will try to answer it. And if you have a Big Shot and you have tips on how you love to use it, please leave those in the comments as well. This is Lolly saying goodbye.